Hey everybody, Thomas Joseph here from Kitchen Conundrums. Now, every celebration deserves a beautiful cake. But has this ever happened to you where you've gone through the effort and the time to make a cake and what you end up with is something that isn't frosted evenly, the layers to your cake might not be all the same and a little lopsided? So today I'm gonna show you some essential techniques that will have you decorating and assembling your next cake like a pro. So we're gonna get rid of this guy here and we're gonna start from scratch. Now, a few items that you're going to need if you really wanna take cake decorating and assembly seriously. I suggest that you invest in one of these. This is a rotating cake stand and it makes it so easy to assemble, cut, layer, and decorate cakes. One other essential item I would say is having a long serrated knife like this. Anything that's short is not going to cut even layers for you. Now, whenever I'm baking and assembling layer cakes, I like to make my cakes in advance and I like to freeze them overnight. It really helps when you go to slice your layers because your cake is very firm. Now make sure to peel off the parchment from baking. And I have a cardboard round here, which is a bake shop trick. It's an easy way to transport your fully assembled cakes. I'm going to invert one of my layers, and this is a 9-inch chocolate cake. But the method here, it's all the same, regardless of what cake you're planning on using. So now I'm gonna trim off this dome, and what you should do, use your serrated knife, and go along the edge of the cake just as it starts to crown, and we're gonna trim off this domed portion. So I'm rotating the cake as I cut. And the reason why we're getting rid of this dome is so that we have nice, flat, even layers. So don't discard this. This is perfectly good. You can give this to the kids. It is delicious. So now we have to slice this cake layer in half. So we're at about 1 inch here since we've trimmed off the dome. And I am going to use toothpicks. Now these are gonna help me. They're gonna be a wonderful guide in cutting nice even layers. At the 1/2 inch mark, place a toothpick and then do this a few times around the circumference of the cake. And what this does is it acts as a guide so that when you glide your knife around, you will have nice, beautiful, even layers. Okay, so now take your knife here, and as you turn your Lazy Susan, make sure that you hit the guides that you've set in place. So once you have your mark and you've created a cut, you can remove your toothpicks here. And again, it's turning the cake stand and sawing back and forth with your serrated knife. So that looks good. I have 2 beautiful layers, 2 even layers, and I'm ready to cut my second cake. So repeat the process. So now the cake layers are cut and now we're ready to assemble. So one little trick here, taking a little bit of frosting, and I'm using a Swiss meringue buttercream today. Put it on the bottom here so your cardboard round doesn't move around as you frost. Just give it a little bit of a press. This layer we'll come back to. Now the cake layers are still cold. That's the beauty of freezing the cake. They stay nice and firm so that you can lift them easily and they don't crumb too much. So now for layering with frosting. Favorite tool right here. I love using an ice cream scoop. It helps to portion out the perfect amount of frosting. So I'm gonna use 2 scoops here. Now you could also use a measuring cup. I just find that these ice cream scoops with the release makes a quick job real fast here. And then every single layer you're gonna build with 2 scoops of your frosting. So you know that you'll have even layers. Taking a little offset spatula, work from the center of the cake out to the sides. So once it's evenly spread, now try not to go right to the edge. I would say leave a 1/4 inch border because once you start stacking, you're gonna compress that frosting down and it's gonna squeeze out towards the side. So don't go all the way to the edge. I like to rotate the stand a little bit to smooth out the center. And if you have a little bit of extra, you can put it right back into your bowl. So now it's time for the next layer and you're gonna repeat this process until you get to the top. So now I have the final layer, and I'm actually going to invert this, and this is the bottom of one of the cake layers, so that bottom really has a nice flat surface. So that looks great there, and now I'm going to crumb coat the cake, which is a very important step. And crumb coating, all it really is like a thin layer of frosting, and what it does is it locks in all of those crumbs. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna work from the center out to the sides and then down the sides of your cake. Go with gravity. So working the frosting on the top out to the sides of the cake, take your spatula and work down the sides of the cake. As you can see, there are plenty of crumbs stuck in this layer of frosting. So this is gonna go into the refrigerator now until it is firm, about 30 minutes, maybe an hour. So our cake has been in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. Pile on some of your buttercream frosting. Be generous. Again, using your offset spatula here, you're going to work the frosting out to the outside and then down the sides. And you can see I'm flattening out the top here just by rotating the cake stand, keeping my offset spatula flat against the cake. And what it does is it pulls away any excess frosting, so that'll give you a nice smooth top. Now scrape off your frosting in between smoothing, and then you're gonna work down the sides just like we did before. And we'll smooth it out once we have it all worked down the sides. If you notice the very bottom of your cake has a little pocket that's free of frosting and you need some, you can always just add it onto your spatula and turn your cake stand, and it should fill in that gap nicely. So now to smooth out the sides, again, you're gonna hold your offset spatula at a 90-degree angle, and you're just going to spin the cake stand, and it will evenly smooth out your frosting. And now to fix the top, as you can see, smoothing out the sides, it pushes the frosting up, and an easy way to remove that is just to quickly swipe the frosting in towards the center. So swipe it in just like that. Make sure that you wipe in between these swipes. So now we're ready to serve, and I am so excited to share with you what the inside of this cake looks like. Now transfer your beautifully frosted cake onto your cake stand. And I'm just using my offset spatula here. Use your hands, be daring, don't be afraid, and place it right on your cake stand. Try to center it as best you can. So now we're ready to cut. Now I'm using my favorite knife again. It's an offset serrated knife. It's great for cutting pies and cakes. I have some hot water here, and make sure that you wipe off the hot water so that it doesn't melt your frosting too much. Go straight down into your cake and straight down. And the moment of truth here. Bum, bum, bum. Look at how beautiful and even this slice of cake is. It really is so wonderful. Okay, so the big reveal here, the center of the cake, look at how even those layers are. Isn't this amazing? Now with these essential tricks and techniques, you'll be decorating cakes like a pro, I am sure of it. Enjoy, guys.